Hey guys, how's it going? Joys of Sorrow here. Welcome to the Joys of Sorrow channel. So, I haven't been making that many videos in a while, and for those of you who haven't kept up with me on, Twitter or any of my other social medias, this is upon one of many things that I've been up to since my car broke down and everything. My son got into fish about a month ago. My parents, which are his grandparents, bought him his first betta. Unfortunately, due to many mistakes throughout the month, that betta is no longer with us. However, several other fish and animals have come to live with us due to the learning process that I've had to take of keeping fish. It wasn't my idea, but it is what it is. And since I've been having to do all this research, pretty much crash coursing myself, I've bought several tanks. Now, this is one of my smallest tanks that I have. This is an Aqueon Minibow 2.5 gallon aquarium in the white color. And I'm just going to go over this with you guys real quick. Unfortunately, should have made a better video on it because I didn't find too many videos online in regards to this acrylic aquarium. But from what I found in the research I did, I'll try to touch all that up in this video. So, the animals here are Pinkey, the female vein-tailed betta, who is a little bloated. She's a bit of a fatty, unfortunately, so I spent the last 2 weeks trying to figure out a diet for her, and I've kind of got it figured out. Unfortunately, because she's on a diet, she'll eat the shrimp's food, and that is the other guest in our video today, this ghost shrimp. There were 2 ghost shrimp at one point. However, someone here decided to eat one while it had just shed. So, yeah, that is the only one left in there. I originally put the ghost shrimp in there not as food. It was actually meant to basically see if the betta would get along with maybe smaller shrimp like a mono shrimp or some of those red cherry shrimp. However, since she ate the other ghost shrimp, and ghost shrimp are bigger than those red cherry shrimps, I'm a little worried that she might eat the little red cherry shrimps, and I'm not about to basically give her a $4 buffet of shrimp or $4 each, because that is what those red shrimp costs. The red cherry shrimp are anywhere between $4 and $7. But anyways, enough of that. So the aquarium bait came with this stand right here, which this is a stand. I'm gonna lift this up just a little bit to show you guys. On the actual acrylic, okay, I actually can't lift that up too much. There's these little grooves that pretty much attach to that. You can see one of them right there. And line up, not tightly, but line up well enough with this bottom base for you to set this up on. And the reason I think they went with that is because there's actually extra material at those bottom lips. So it could probably keep the tank from bowing too much. Then it comes obviously with the 2.5 gallon acrylic tank itself. The top, which also houses 2 LED lights. And it comes with a filter. Now, it came with the filter and the filter screen. This piece right here, I added onto it. And I'll explain to you guys why in a little bit. So there's the filter pad. And under the filter pad, you guys actually see it hanging off there. Is this little cut up bit of a bio sponge. And I'll talk about that also in a little bit. But aside from the filter, the filter piece, the lid, the tank, and the bottom piece, it also came with some tropical fish food, a packet of water conditioner, 2 coupons for $2 off of any Aqueon food or Aqueon maintenance products for the aquarium. And then I do have some stuff in here that I bought separately. For example, that top fin water heater was bought separately. That did not come with it. This I also bought at Amazon. This is a kind of a bit of a feeding dish. It's meant so that the food isn't floating around all over the place and just dirtying up the water. And it's supposed to help you train your betta to learn where they need to go to eat, which he's actually not doing such a bad job of figuring out. You can see right there, the shrimp's like, get away from me. Saw what you did to my friend. You ain't gonna do that to me. And then right here on the filter is actually what's called a pre-filter sponge. Now, the reason I did that was because the flow is a little strong for a small betta fish, especially one as small as Pinkey. And if you guys haven't seen Pinkey swim, Pinkey has a little bit of an S shape to her swim, and the reason for that being is because the other tank I have, the 5.5 gallon, did not have a pre-filter, and it has a pretty strong flow in it. So she actually got caught in the flow, and that injured her a little bit. She is doing much better. She's a lot more livelier. She had a little hole in her back fin, and it grew back. She also had her left pectoral, nipped off, and that's grown back. So from now on, any tank that I have is going to have a pre-filter sponge, and I definitely recommend for anybody who has small fish, or just in general, anybody who has an aquarium, to have a pre-filter sponge on their filter, aside from making sure that little fish like baby fish or shrimp or small fish like Pinkey here don't get sucked into the filter or get hurt by the filter. It also allows for beneficial bacteria to accumulate in it, so that way when you're changing out your filters, because these filters, they're small, they're not that great, but they do take out a lot of stuff from the water. There is a worry that, especially with the carbon, the activated charcoal carbon in there, it could take off things like medication or even kill off some of the beneficial bacteria. And as a matter of fact, as the beneficial bacteria does start to grow around it, once you throw away that pad, you've gotten rid of that beneficial bacteria. So, the pre-filter sponge is going to be another place for beneficial bacteria to gather. So again, that's another benefit to having that sponge there. Then, the gravel, the plants, the lava rock, and this right here, this is something I bought on Amazon as well. It was a Betta Fish bed kit where you take these almond leaves and you just clip them on there, and then the betta is supposed to sleep in them. Pinkey never cares for that. I do leave it on there because it does give a little coverage, and she likes to go under it. And then around here, I have more leaves as well. These are almond leaves, dried out almond leaves. They are specifically for bettas. I've seen people use them for other fish as well. And apparently the leaves have tannin in them. And when you put them in the water, it turns the water a little brown. As you can see, the water here is not clear. So it browns out the water a little bit, but it does help control the pH level. So that's good. The plants in here are from the old 5.5 gallon. I have an Anubias plant right there, and I have a Java fern in the back right there. The Java fern actually does seem to be growing, pretty slow though, but growing. This plant here, I've had it for about a month now. It doesn't seem to want to grow. But at the same time, it's not dying either, so maybe just not giving enough nutrients. And then finally here at the end is a Momino moss ball that was also in the 5-gallon tank, and I just decided to pull one out for Pinkey because there was 2 others. So now I do want to cover a few things here as far as what you can put in this. Again, I'm talking as an amateur. This is my first 2.5 gallon tank. The only other tanks I have are the 5.5 gallon and a 29 gallon. And I can verify, even though I've only been doing this for a short while, that there is more maintenance to be done on a smaller tank than there is for a larger tank. And I'm talking both the water parameters and maintenance of the product itself. For example, these filters get dirty really quick. This filter I had just put on about a few days ago, and it's already getting dirty. Now, you might think that's a bunch of food or stuff like that. It's actually not. The gravel that I'm using in here is the Seachem camo. Camo. I'm sorry. The Seachem gravel that is supposed to be for growing live plants. Since I have live plants in there, I figured it would be a good thing to do so I could give them, better chances at growing. However, it's a very dirty gravel naturally. It's not that the gravel itself is contaminated or anything. It's just naturally very earthy, very dirty, and it does have some of that dirt still in it. So that is what you see when you see that stain right there. It could also be some of the tannin from the plants, but it's not because there's a bunch of food in there or anything like that. I actually just did a water change about 3-4 days ago, maybe almost a week ago now. But now that I have the filter open, let me just show you guys how this kind of works. Under the pre-filter, you can see that little tube right there. It's just a small tube, about 2.5-3 inches big. As a matter of fact, I have to keep it under that plant leaf and the amino ball under that, so it doesn't slip away from it when the water level gets too low. Now, one of the problems with this filter, especially for beta, is it has a pretty strong current. Now, I've found ways to mitigate that. And one of the ways to mitigate that is to pretty much go out and get sponge material from your local aquarium or pet store. And you're going to need 2 pieces. If you can find one, you can see this one actually came from a triangular shaped piece of sponge. You can find one of those, that's great. A square piece will do fine as well. And here's what you're going to have to do. So let me unplug this real quick. There you go. So it's unplugged. Water's out of it. Let me just take this out. Okay. Now if you guys see right there, I just have a small strip of filter sponge right at that hole where the water is supposed to come out, and you can actually see some of the sponge right there hanging out. Pinky kind of pecks at it sometimes. Sorry about that. But I am actually going to leave that back in there for right now. What I might just do after I'm finished with this video is I can just go and go and rinse this out a little later. Okay. Just want to make sure that filter's in place. Now, here's another thing that I've noticed. If for any reason the filter cannot filter all that water at once that it's pouring in, it has a little spillway right here where it likes to go out. I have this piece right here that I attach to here. And it's not that I'm trying to filter the overspill of the water. It's more about that little hole that's left there if that sponge isn't there. And if you guys know anything about betas actually like to squeeze themselves into tight spaces. Pinkey actually likes to go into this little hole that I drilled that goes into the main cave right there of this lava rock that I modified. Even though she's almost exact size to it, which is not good. She can hurt herself. I haven't seen her do it mostly lately. I originally did that not for her to go into, but so when I got the shrimp had somewhere to hide. But yeah, she has a tendency of doing that, just like she has a tendency of going through this little crawl space right here at the bottom to hang out here under the leaf. But maybe makes her feel safe or something. But yeah, if you guys do decide that you want to get yourself a Minibow 2.5, Minibow 5, I believe there's a Minibow 1 and a 1.6 as well. Know that you're going to want to do some modifications to the filter. Again, adding filter right there at the out, where the water pours out from being filtered, so that the flow isn't too strong for something like a betta fish or a small fry. Another filter there, so that your betta fish or any other creature doesn't, just start going around. And then there you go. I turn the filter back on. As you guys can see, with that piece of sponge there, the movement is not dramatic. It's slow, which is good for a betta. Very good. Bettas do not like their water to be, fast flowing or anything like that. And it looks like since I kind of stirred up some of the stuff in the filter, the shrimp's trying to gather up some of that stuff. Suggestion as well, I think I mentioned this, maybe I'm not, but I'll do it again. Again, it doesn't come with a pre-filter sponge for your filter. I highly recommend getting one for yourself, for your tank. Regardless whether you're keeping a betta or other type of fish, it's just beneficial for you to have it so that you have a place for that beneficial bacteria to gather up. Because you'll always replace those top pieces of the filter. This you don't have to replace. All you'd have to do is just rinse it off with dechlorinated water or even some clean tank water. Squeeze all the bad stuff out of it, pop it back in. I am going to try to figure out ways to tighten this sponge up, because it's a little bigger than the diameter it actually needs. I'm going to try to see maybe rubber bands will work. Try to make a video on that as well. So, guys, that's pretty much it in regards to talking about the tank. The only thing I could bring up right now is that there is a switch for the lights in there. And I usually only give them about 10 hours of light a day. I don't even keep the window open like that. Because on this window, we do get direct sunlight. So I don't want to get direct sunlight on this tank. You don't want to get direct sunlight in any aquarium. But with acrylic, you do have to be a little extra careful, because acrylic in the sun, especially direct sunlight, over time will develop a tannish tint to it. But yes, that's pretty much it for this Aqueon Minibow 2.5 tank. As far as recommendation goes, I would recommend this tank specifically for anybody who wants something small they can put in the office or at home for your kids. Let's say or especially if you have kids. Let's say you have kids who want to get a betta fish, but you're not 100% sure whether having like a community tank aquarium or a big aquarium tank is worthwhile, because it does get expensive. Aside from the $28.97 that I paid for the tank on Amazon, which is the most affordable place you can get it, and only in the white color. They have the black ones, but they cost about $33 and change. So if you do want one of these, I highly recommend Amazon.com to buy one. If not, if you guys can't wait or rather go through a brick and mortar store, Petco is the place to go for the Aqueon tanks and Aqueon products. They are more affordable at Petco. There is a line from PetSmart called Top Fin, which I will be doing a review of very soon. Actually today, before I started making this video, I went to PetSmart to pick up some stuff, and I saw a tank on sale that is similar to this one, and I'm going to match them up and see which one is, which one is the better of the two. But again, this I do recommend. If you're going to put anything in it, a betta. That's about it. Betta and some shrimp, maybe a snail, and I would just keep it at that. The only other aquarium fish, you can see right there that bad bend on the back. All the other aquarium fish you can probably keep in something like this is you could probably turn it into just shrimp tank only, maybe a pea puffer, but it's not a tank for a lot of fish. And you might be wondering, hey, where's your oxygen? There's no bubbles coming out of the tank. Well, because bettas have a labyrinth lung system, they don't need air pumped into the water, and neither does the one shrimp that's in there. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this for a beginner aquarium, or if, let's say, you just like betta fish and you want to give the betta a decent home. A 2.5 gallon aquarium is a much better home for a betta than those dinky little cups that they come in, or a 1 gallon fish bowl that you're going to find. At least with this, you have filtration, you have lights, it is customizable. Aside from the adding the filters and sponges to mess with the flow, other things that I've even thought about, I can get more lighting into this cap by simply just going to Five Below, getting some of their LED strip kits. As a matter of fact, I think actually I do. Here's an LED strip that I cut up from one of those strips that you buy from Five Below. Obviously, it doesn't have the remote control for the different colors and the USB plug because I shortened it, but it wouldn't be too hard to just reopen that up, stick these in because it does have an adhesive backing, and give yourself some extra lighting for those plants, or maybe turn it into a night light, because it is a pretty bright light. I mean, here, I'll show you guys. So, pretty bright light in here. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. So hopefully this will help out settle any issues or any questions that you might have regarding the Aqueon Minibow 2.5. If you guys have any further questions, please leave them in the comments section. I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and have a great day.